It's the Parents Lounge. It's the Parents Lounge. Tuesday night, so grab a drink. It's the Parents Lounge. It's the Parents Lounge. There's no way we copyrighted this, so just sit back and have a drink at the Parents Lounge Oasis.
Parents Lounge.
Nice. I love the graphics work.
I blew the whole budget of the show right there.
Honestly, couldn't have. Honestly, let's say that every moment of free time we had away from our children, we put into that opening.
Yes. Yep. And I think the opening shows it.
Welcome everybody to Tuesday night at the Parents Lounge, the oasis of parenting in a midweek hellhole that's just disastrous. So this is my new Parents Lounge cup.
Oh, you got it.
You sent to me. Yeah, it's etched. You sent me a Parents Lounge etch. Apparently, I'm going to have to drink it before you can see the etching.
That's okay. And that's fine. That was the plan from the beginning. That's why I did the etched instead of the screen print.
Beautiful. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited to be here. It's been
a week, right?
I'm Jamie Kaler. I'm, of course, joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Jason Gowan.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How was your week in dadding, as we call it?
So we got a new sitter.
Oh.
Her name is Helen.
Okay.
She's good.
Helen, is she 85 years old? She's
14.
There's a 14-year-old named Helen. The names.
I think it's a family name.
Okay, you sure she's not like a Highlander and she fought in World War II? She was like a Rosie the Riveter or something with a name like Helen or Dolores.
It's not. I mean, as far as I know, she's not gone off to war or watched anybody go off to war.
No, I guess it's a timeless name, Helen of Troy.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so my son, what?
She's 14?
Correct.
Okay.
My son immediately started, like, he tried scamming her right out of the gate. He's like, yeah, Dad lets us have ice cream for dinner. That's kind of the thing we do here. And I'm like, oh, well, here's the thing. We kind of have two schools of thought on this. Mom has a food pyramid and Dad has a food pyramid. And ice cream is okay for dinner on one of those. And it's not Dad's. Or, excuse me, it is Dad's. And so it was like, we better err on the side of caution. And so she did, in fact, go with what Melissa respected. So.
Well, I would say a 14-year-old is going to go, sure, that sounds fine, right? Like, what 14-year-old is going to go, no, I think you should have some food from the 4 basic food groups. The 14-year-old is going to be like, I'm not sure I would trust I guess.
Well, we were still here in town. We didn't, leave town.
No, it's not an overnight thing, but still.
No, it's like a couple of hours.
Now, let me ask you, because we had some younger people babysitting, I feel like there's a different mentality in this next generation where they have this crazy entitlement, and that there was no, they didn't do one extra thing, just didn't even clear the table to the sink, nothing, was just pure. I'm gonna literally be here to call 911 for your kids. That's it. Nothing else.
Complete opposite. She even charged the remotes and stuff. She put everything on a charger, tablets, remotes for TVs. She does more in this house now than I do, and she's been here one day.
Then she's a keeper. I would keep her.
I think I might just let her take over my job here.
We didn't have a 14-year-old. We had one that was older.
How old did you start? What was your area?
Would anyone trust me with another human? I have 2 kids, and I'm not sure my wife even trusts me at this point.
She doesn't. You've made that very clear.
She calls, my wife's out of town, and so she calls at the end of the night and says, "Is the stove off?" I mean, to be fair, I do leave the stove on all the time. After I'm done cooking, I empty the bowl.
You've just decided not to do that. You're just like, yeah, we don't really need this house.
There's one thing that I don't know why I never turn the stove off, which is probably not the best skill set to have. But she always is like, she's like, go check on the kid. I got it. So it's funny when my daughter got hurt and we did the whole finger thing. That's what we talked about. It was on her watch, right?
Oh,
which is
thank
not
God! If it had been on yours, you'd be dead, man.
if I was on, if my child got hurt on my watch, oh my God, I would be, yeah, you wouldn't see me again. I'd be floating down the LA River. It would be terrible.
So if you go missing, if something happens, I should check the hospital to see if Hannah or Claire are okay first.
Yeah, if Hannah has to go to the emergency room with me, I'm gonna be checking myself into the hospital shortly after that.
That's fair.
For the most part. We have a fantastic show. Our guest actually already popped in. It seems a shame to just keep him out, so I feel like we should bring him in. We told him 7:15. And honestly, after working with him for years, this is the only time I've ever seen him early. Like typically, last to set.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Totally messing with him because he can hear us. He's watching us right now. We have a fantastic show. You know that.
Well,
because you have a chair that says Marvel on it, so I think
I do. I'm a little excited about this one because this is my wheelhouse.
So we'll talk about our normal stuff within the confines of him. He's an old friend of mine. He was on the greatest comedy of all time, My Boy. I'm sorry, what? My Boys. He also did, I think he did another show I heard about through the grapevine, Veep, I believe. I don't know.
I haven't heard of it. No.
It might have been some online video series. I'm not sure, but I heard of it. He also is in the Venom series on Marvel. So yes, he plays a character in Venom, and he has a new one coming out called Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Please welcome Mr. Reid Scott. Woo! Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm honestly shocked. I was shocked. I was like, Reid's here early. What happened?
I panicked.
Did you? It happens. It happens.
Literally, I mean, I was in a complete different mindset. I was on another mental cloud. Mm-hmm. And I looked down at my watch and I looked at my wife and I just said, oh, fuck. And I just ran.
That's actually how we also start the show, Reid.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Great. So
I don't know about you, Reid. That's how I start every day since I've had kids. That's how every day.
Yeah, pretty much. That sounds about right.
And I'll talk to our mutual friend, Mike Bunin from the show My Boys in the morning. And he'll be like, you wouldn't believe I had the craziest day. I had to go walk the dog and now I'm making some breakfast. And I'm like, dude, you have no concept of what's happening here. It's utter mayhem. So this was what I'm going to talk about. This morning, I had a huge fight with my daughter, my 7-year-old, because I recorded a new album about the pandemic. I wrote a whole new hour. And so I recorded it and she heard me cutting it. And my 7-year-old said to me, hey, those are my stories and you can't use them without my permission.
Ooh, I like that.
Part of me loved it too. I was like, good for you. But I'm using all of them. But
she's advanced. She's clearly advanced, and she's going to be a giant success in this world. I have no worries about her at all.
No, she's going to take over the plan. I'm hoping I can maintain somewhat of a healthy relationship so she kind of brings me along with her, you know.
Would you have her?
It's going to depend on the size of the percentage of the cut you give her from that album.
She gets the whole. What are you talking about, dude? Every day is either Menchie's or Happy Ice or the candy store. Every day. We're at Target. We went to Target. She's already. Her birthday's in like 3 weeks, and she's already like, the list has started for everything she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, my buddy Reid, who was a groomsman at my wedding, now we are the only two of the boys with children, my friend.
Is that it? Really? Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, Kyle's hanging out, and Bunin he's not giving it anytime soon. So yeah, it's you holding down the fort. You know, it's funny. I was talking to somebody today, and I go, hey, Reid's on the show, and
Can I drink a Spindrift? Is this like I'm not affiliated with Spindrift at all, but you're just drinking.
Actually, Spindrift is one of our sponsors now. I mean, literally, starting right now, they are.
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
I was talking about, I posted that picture of us at the Art Institute, and when we shot in Chicago, which is still a blur, because unfortunately Chicago has a 5 a.m. last call, and then we had to be on set at like 7 in the morning.
We shot in Chicago?
What's going on? I saw that going. Yeah, actually, this photograph evidence, I have some other evidence I'll post at some point, but people are like, oh, I love that show. You guys had such chemistry. And it made me remember that you, out of all of us, I don't think I ever saw you lose your cool. Like, you have this aura about you where you have this calmness. And now that you have kids, I wonder if there's a crack in the facade.
So many times per day, it just cracks. I mean, nothing will get me. Also, forgive me, like, you know me very well. I swear like a sailor. I assume I can go off leash here.
We welcome it.
Great. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Being a parent has broken me down to such a fine grit that there's nothing but cracks in the facade. I lose my shit multiple times a day. I have 2 boys, just so everyone knows what's going on here. This is my street cred. I had 2 boys, 6.5 and 3.5.
Okay.
They're both wonderful kids, but they're maniacs. They're just absolute maniacs.
Jason has 3. He has a set of twins and an older boy.
I'm barely hanging on, Reid.
I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, I didn't before, and now I do. I remember like friends of mine that had children before me. They would try to. I was wondering, it's like, God, all they want to do is talk about their kids, and now I get it. It's just like it's all consuming. I'm powerless.
It's not that we want to talk about it.
Somehow.
We have nothing else to talk about. I have nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else happening in my life.
Certainly nothing is like of the same magnitude, clearly. Like what was our big meltdown just today? One won't eat his salmon and the other, when I dropped in, I heard you guys talking about one of the kids getting hurt on your watch.
Yeah.
And this did not happen on my watch. Technically, it happened on no one's watch. My older boy went to camp, and he went in a fucking bounce house, and he broke his arm. He broke his arm in a bounce house. The bounce house claims another victim. It happened to be my boy, and he's in a giant dark purple. He chose the color giant dark purple cast up to his armpit, so that they can keep his forearm straight for the rest of the summer. The poor kid. But the looks that you get as a parent walking around with a 6-year-old and a big pout on his face and his arms broken, everyone just looks at you like, what have you done? And it feels like it happened on your watch.
And it probably did. I remember my wife, when we would go to parties, the kids would be losing their mind in a bounce house, and she'd be like, "Are you watching them?" And I go, "Well, yeah, but I mean, I can't move faster than time and space. If something's happening in the bounce house, I can't stop it. This is it. It's going to happen."
Yeah.
So
my wife does not understand the peripheral watch. Like, she doesn't get that. She thinks you have to have gaze on, like, never take your eye off. And I do more of a slight peripheral glaze of the children.
You parent by feel. I go by feel too.
Yeah, you have to, or it'll drive you insane.
Yeah.
It's just not even, it's just a sense of like, I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah.
It's going to work out.
But they're never actually fine, ever.
Never. That's why you can't look. If you're looking all the time, it's like, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. You have to turn away every once in a while.
That's so funny. Well, It's so funny because our parents were, like, my mother just never saw me. I was gone. And my wife, like, it's not just my wife. It's this whole generation of people like this. It's not even helicopter. They're like backpack moms of like, where are they? What's happening at every moment? And I don't know if it's serving them well. I think we're setting them up for maybe failure in life because they don't know how to like not be alone. It's weird.
It's true. Very true.
What's the biggest meltdown you've had? I mean, obviously breaking the arm is a bad one, but
he was a champ. I got to give him a lot of credit. I picked him up from camp, and he was like kind of nursing his arm. He was like, "Oh man," like he was unhappy about it, but he wasn't. And usually, like if he gets like this, if like a fly lands on his shoulder, he's like, "Ah!" And he was so tough about it. We didn't even get him X-rayed until the next day because he really wasn't complaining that much. It turns out he had broken his arm, and I've been blown away by how resilient and sort of like brave he's been. So
it's amazing.
What?
Now your kids are 3 years apart. Mine are 18 months, so they are kind of inseparable, even though the older one beats the younger one senseless on a daily basis. 3 years is kind of a big jump. So does the older one just not want to be around the younger one at all, or do they play together?
Oh, they're good buddies. They get along great. Yeah, they're playing Star Wars action figures. Our other sponsor, by the way. Thanks, Star Wars.
When are you getting into that? Are you getting into that franchise anytime soon?
I can't talk about it.
I knew you. I told JC he's gonna go. I can't talk about it.
No, they get along really well. I mean, you see the divide, especially when it comes down to responsibilities. Not that they have many at this age, but the age-old question, sort of like, oh, how come he gets to do it? And it's like, well, he's 3. I understand that feels unfair, but I mean, you didn't want to shit in your pants, right? Like, that's not something you're looking forward to. I'm not taking something away from you by not letting you shit in your pants.
Yeah. Mine, I have to almost count the pieces of macaroni and cheese. Like, they fight over exact amounts of whatever they get and stuff. And it just gets old.
The twins are that way for us.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's like, if you don't have exactly the same, like, we could have 14 Nerf balls in this house, and if they are not the exact same ball in the exact same dimension, there is a bloodbath. And sometimes I let them go at it just for sport, just to see which one's actually tougher. But for the most part, my wife frowns on that.
Where does the record stand so far?
What's the
Logan, who is the older twin, is by far stronger, but Anthony is a smarter fighter. So it's by brute strength. If Logan can get a hold of him, it's over quick. Yeah. But if Anthony can stay, at arm's length, he usually takes it.
Wow. We gotta set up a fight. Why don't we film a fight sequence, man? This is great.
I did that once, and then I dubbed WWE commentary over top of the video.
That's funny. I mean, we used to remember bum fights, how great they were. Toddler fights feels like it's gonna be fantastic.
We could take bets. We should do that as a Thursday night hang.
Betting's legal now. We should do Tuesday night toddler fights. That would be fantastic.
We just lost Star Wars, and
we lost, and but we kept Rye. We kept Bullet Rye, so that's gonna.
Rye was and ice.
They did. And ice. So hey, man. So you already went and shot Venom, huh?
Yeah.
And I know you can't tell anything about it, but you know that Jason.
I'll tell you. What do you want to know? I'll say the whole thing. Once the whole plot start to finish, here we go. All right, ready?
Yeah. Let's go. You shot in London. It must have been an amazing experience to go back and do it.
When did you shoot it?
God, we shot it a long time ago now because COVID. It was supposed to come out last summer, end of last summer, so a year ago, and obviously they pushed it because of COVID. And then because they had all this time on their hands, they just endlessly tinkered with it. So we've been doing dropping in for little bits of ADR, and they'll redub some stuff and some extra CGI sequences and things like that. So I can't wait to see it because God knows they've had nothing but time to make this thing incredible. So we'll see.
I mean, it's almost a curse because if it's not like this flawless, beautiful film, they go, dude, you worked on this thing for 3 years. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a blast. Yeah. It was a blast. We mostly shot right around Christmas time, actually, 2019 into 2020. So I was in London just before the holiday and then just after, and then came back again. We actually had to do some pickups during COVID, which is weird. That was the first flight I took during COVID, which was back to London 9 months later to shoot some more.
Was the plane
empty?
Full?
Completely empty. This would have been October of 2020, and it was the first flight I had taken since COVID, and I had to go to LAX, and the flights from LA to London typically leave at night, so it was 11 o'clock at night, and walking through Tom Bradley International Terminal, and there's just no one anywhere. And no one even, we were like zombies, the people getting on the plane. Like no one knew where to go. There was one guy standing at the little kiosk outside the gate. We get on the plane. There's just nobody on the plane. And no one even knows the protocol, like what to do. Like, do you take the mask down and then take a bite or sip, or do you keep the mask? They were still serving food. And there was a long time where they weren't serving anything on the plane. Right. So they were still sort of getting away with that. And of course, everything was fine and completely sterile and clean and great. And we shot at Pinewood Studios, the famous Pinewood Studios, where they shot Star Wars and stuff. So it's actually outside of London.
Yeah.
Bond, yeah, all that. So it was really a treat.
That must have been cool, dude. That must have been serious.
Yeah, it's like
that's awesome.
Yeah, you step onto that lot and you're like, what is this? This is pretty rad.
Yeah.
And,
I felt that way when we shot My Boys and we saw the little marquee on the out front and all the TV shows. You were like, wait, Cheers was shot on this stage. I was like, you have this whole history stuff. I mean, Pinewood is Kubrick. It's everybody.
The ghosts. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. It was fun.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it was great. The whole experience, top to bottom, was great. Like, I think what Tom Hardy's doing in these movies is so fun. Like, he's really embracing, and the whole franchise seems to really be embracing like the silliness, the goofiness, and like the over the top nature of the character and of the world. Like, it's one of the few Marvel movies that doesn't take itself very seriously at all. It's like I loved Ragnarok. I thought Ragnarok was.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
It's a comedy. It's like it's not trying to be anything other than just an amazing comedy. And I think Venom's doing a pretty good job of just trying to be an over the top, like almost early Sam Raimi, like Night of the Living Dead kind of funny horror movie. It's
really making waffles in the trailer, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It feels like that's the vein now because Deadpool's like that. I mean, John Wick. The first 5 minutes, I was like, hate this movie, and then 7 minutes into it, I was like, this is the greatest film of all time because we're starting to understand how people are taking things to the. I mean, look at Fast and Furious. Didn't they take the cars into space in 9? They're like,
yeah, totally.
You know what we haven't gone yet? Just the pitch in the story room is we should go to space with the car. Fantastic.
And
write it in. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it was way. I mean, the first one's a blast. It's super fun. It's over the top. It's insane. It's nuts. And Hardy's such a a revered actor that to have him play that part is kind of a cool juxtaposition to have it do it. So yeah. By the way, Jason is one of the biggest Marvel fans. Tell him about your sons, Jason.
They are named Anthony and Logan after Tony Stark and Wolverine. Middle names are Parker and Reid after Spider-Man and
Reid Scott from Venom.
That's right.
Show him the back of your chair, my friend. Show him your chair.
Oh yeah, and that's Tony Stark's chair, isn't it?
It is. Yes, I'm impressed.
It is. So Jason has put together a little. I have nothing to do with this, so I'm going to play along. But he has put together a little Marvel quiz, I guess we'll call it.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how we do. Also, by the way, Jason
commissioned by Mr. Kaler to do so.
You might be the nicest person in any Marvel film, by the way.
That is correct. That is correct.
I don't feel like, especially as a guy, and we're kind of wondering. I mean, you're with Venom's old girl. Yeah. Why doesn't he kill you? Why doesn't he kill you?
A great
You're
question.
Too nice. It's a great question.
Well, that was a fun thing to kind of work out. Actually, like Tom and I had a lot of fun playing with it. That stuff like that actually came up, and there were so many rewrites on the first one, and they had brilliant writers come in for every single draft, and everyone sort of got better and better and better. But one of the things that we wanted to play with is, I like the idea that Dr. Dan just thinks Tom's character is just the greatest.
He does.
He's just like, wow, like you are so fucking cool, man. And because he's so earnest in his admiration, that Tom's character in turns is so like, I can't kill this guy. He's too nice. So killing him with
logic. There has to be some logic because otherwise you're like, well, he would kill that dude. And honestly, we were talking about it. It was like, Reid's so nice, and he's kind of his wingman in a weird way that he's like, I can't kill this guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird fan fiction that takes it off in the whole other direction.
Is there like is there a subculture of that?
Yeah. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll see something on Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, but sure. Yeah. Okay.
The deep state theories of what's happening in all the Marvel films.
So
We get a little of that with this show.
Take the con. Let's see how the Marvel and the Spindrift work.
Okay.
Okay. In the Venom film, what are the names of the 4 spin-off symbiotes?
Oh. You've got Carnage, Rampage. Oh my God. I'm gonna call it there.
Lasher
Honestly,
and
you got
Riot.
more than me. I was gonna say.
I didn't know
I was
that.
gonna say Barry, Morris, Andy,
And Lionel.
and the other Gib. I don't know the fourth one.
You are correct, Mr. Kaler. That is correct.
Morris and who's the fourth Gib? I can't remember. So what were the 4?
He got the 2 of them, and then Riot and Lasher were the other 2.
That'll come in the sequels. And also, he didn't want to wreck. That's something he can't talk about. That's too. It might be in the next film.
I just can't talk about it.
He's got an NDA going.
Yeah.
What are Venom's 2 weaknesses?
Can I answer first?
I didn't hear what Reid said.
All the symbiotes are fire and sound.
Correct.
Yeah.
What planet is Venom from?
Oh God. Man, I didn't do my homework. The planet.
Uranus.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry.
You are 5 years old, Kaler. 5 years old. This is a very serious game.
I didn't know all the questions were going to be about Venom. I thought you were going to ask him about Marvel. And you can't just beat the guy up on the one film he's in. Let's go.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, he's
to be fair, and Kaler, you know this. I'm terrible at my job.
I told him. I said, you know what I told him? I said, well, first of all, I mean, when you look like that, you don't have to be that good at your job, Reid. I'm not going to lie to you. No matter what, if you were a lawyer, you'd be in the courtroom and you'd be like, I object, and the judge would go, of course, don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. It's because you're Reid Scott. I also told him that you have, and this is one thing that really irks me about you, is that you have super irks me. You have a photographic memory. And I told Jason, I said, he's the dick who, when everyone goes up on their line, he knows their line. And you're like, shut up. It's like we've been shooting the same scene for 12 hours, and one of us will go up on our line, and Reid will go, you want to say I'm going to the kitchen to make a drink. Okay, thanks, Reid. Thanks. Like I don't know if you see it in your brain, but it's annoying, brother.
Well, in my old age now, and I think since becoming a dad and I have no sleep, I've started to lose that gift. It's gone. It's gone. It really is. Or it's not there as much. I can't retain it the way I used to. It's weird.
Okay. I mean, I can't remember anything. I put up on words. I'll be like trying to say like, hey, hand me the pot or hand me the bowl to my kid. And I'll be like, hand me the round cylindrical thing. Like I can think of everything except for the word bowl. I'm like totally, there's like a blank spot in my brain.
It's
and
like
I'm not alcohol or just old age or just smashing my head numerous times. I don't know.
Also, just since this show started, in my personal Facebook messages, women who are watching this show who don't want to get caught saying it in the chat are writing how beautiful Reid is.
Dude, listen to me. Hey, I'm not that bad looking. I'm okay. I'm like lumberjack good looks. Like, okay, I'm not in the commercials or the films. I'm not the lead guy, but I'm the groomsman. I'm groomsman number 1.
You are an incredibly handsome man.
Thanks. But the problem is, all of a sudden, that must be like when you're Brad Pitt's best friend or something. You're like, I got to go out with Brad Pitt tonight. God damn it. You know, it's just painful. Like when we travel and everyone go, oh, Reid, you son of a bitch.
Look at you guys with your handsome faces, and I look like Jason Alexander's stunt double.
By the way, that guy has a good living. He does a lot of work.
I didn't say it was a bad gig.
No, it's a good gig. It's a good gig. All right, what's next on the Marvel questions?
Okay. Name 5 other superheroes who have also been Venom besides Eddie Brock.
Oh my God, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Correct.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Uh,
God, there's that many? I had no idea. I thought it was just in the Spider-Man world.
Oh no, there's a lot of them.
Is there anybody else from the Spider-Man world? The Green Goblin's kid there?
Yes,
Franco?
correct. Normie Osborn is correct.
Boom! 2 in your face, Reid Scott.
But you're missing some major names.
But they were superheroes who became.
Who Venom bonded to, correct.
Oh, he symbiotically took them over. I guess he could take anything over he wants. So and they're all obviously in the Marvel universe.
Oh, and they're big names that you all know.
All right. I'm just going to start throwing some out there. I mean, Thor.
Do it. Yes,
Thor?
correct.
Thor. Good.
Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Iron Man.
You can't get inside the suit.
Yeah, it's pushed too far. I went too far with the suit breakage. You can't break through the suit. Let's see if people can guess the answers in the column there.
Wolverine.
Yes.
Wow.
That sounds good. I'm buying that.
I forget the X-Men are in there. Well, then let's go one more X-Men. Is it another X-Men?
Yes, there is one more X-Men on the list.
Magneto.
No, but John Mixon in the chat did get it.
Deadpool.
God
damn it.
Deadpool /
Mixon.
Wow, good, man.
Good job, John.
Wow, I didn't know he crossed over that much. I really didn't.
Oh, yeah. Also, probably the scariest one, he was on Hulk.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh, that could be scary, yeah. Reid, by the way, I'm sorry. I should have warned you. I invited you into one of those Marvel chat rooms for the evening.
No, it's just me.
That's a good question. I didn't know that.
That's a really good question.
You told me to do a good job.
No, that's a really good question. All right.
Also, my last question: who was the very first Marvel version of Venom? Who was the very first under the very first Venom symbiote? Who was it?
Wasn't it originally Eddie Brock and Spider-Man?
It was not. It was Deadpool.
It was really?
Yes.
How did that happen?
He was in Secret Wars on his own little journey and found it before Peter did.
No shit.
Correct.
Fucking Deadpool.
You guys could easily be talking about like the Dead Sea Scrolls, or like you could be speaking in Latin, and I'd be like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what's happening anymore. Yeah,
that's all I had.
Very, very interesting things.
Good question. I have a question for Jason though.
Sure.
Were these questions that you already knew the answers to, or is this like deep dive internet? Like, did you have to look up these questions?
90% I knew. One of them I had to look up.
All right.
Reid, you saw his chair, right?
That's why I asked.
The chair says it all. He knew these questions. Do you want to show him the Iron Man? Show him your Iron Man picture.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Hold on.
Michelle Pulver says the Green Lantern. Wait, the Green Lantern's not. Is that part of the whole thing?
No, that's DC.
I thought so too. Come on, Michelle. You can't mix the two worlds.
But also played by Ryan Reynolds, so that's probably where that comes from.
There we go. There's my suit that I built.
Yes.
Dude, he literally built that suit.
That's amazing.
Why is Thor's hammer there, though?
Because that's when we announced the twins. See on the bottles on the bottom? Those were our twin announcement pictures. Oh, we added 2 new Avengers to the team. That's how we did it.
Amazing.
Shut up, Taylor. I hate him.
No, listen. Okay, here's what I'm gonna tell you. I wish I cared about something as much as like people care about Star Wars. I wish I cared that much about anything.
Not your children or your wife.
No, there are people who care. There are people who have like Disneyland tattoos all over their body and go to Disneyland like every week for the Main Street Parade, and they're like, "We love it, Jamie," and I'm like, "Nah." There's nothing I love that much. I wish I did.
You feel that way about Scotch.
I do love Scotch, true. But not in that manner. No, I could do without it. Actually, that leads me kind of into my next question, because I was walking around today, and in my neighborhood, there's unbelievable cars come through, and I was thinking about the fact that I laugh when I see some guy in like a $250,000 car in Los Angeles going from stoplight to stoplight, or traffic on the 405. Like he's in like $1 million car and he's in bumper to bumper traffic. But that's their indulgence. I have friends who have made a ton of money and then they follow that path. Like it's watches, or for me, it would be guitars actually. Like if I was filthy rich, I would buy gorgeous, beautiful guitars, as many as I could, and line the house. Reid, when you started to really make some cash, what was your indulgence that's your hobby that you love the most?
Oh man, I think the first thing that I bought for myself was kind of like my first like real acting paycheck. I did get a new car because I'd never had a new car. I'd always had like some old beater, and it wasn't even like a crazy car. It was a truck, and I really enjoyed it. But beyond that, skiing. I remember dropping. I went out and got myself like all new skis, like all new everything gear, like new helmet, new goggles, new poles, new gloves, new jacket, new pants, new boots, like the whole thing. And I went on a lot of ski trips. I did that. I traveled. That's what I did with my money. Is I traveled.
Travel, I would argue is, yeah. I think that would be mine as well. Although now with the kids, it's so hard to travel, dude. It's so hard to travel. I have kids, and I go before you have your kids. If there's a place you want to go, I would go now, before kids.
Where have you traveled?
We're taking them in August, and they're like, Hannah's going to be 8, and we're going to take her to a Broadway show, and they're starting to get into that super fun age where you have real conversations, and they're like normal people. So it's getting there, but when they're young, it's super hard to travel.
Jason, what about you? Have you taken your kids on any like big trips anywhere?
The only thing we went to the beach like 5 hours away, like a 4-day getaway, and it was no vacation. It was not. We actually were. They put us in the same suite we were in for our weddings. We got married on the same beach, and it killed any fond memories I have of the place because my children are just the worst.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Well, listen, when you worked on Veep for all those years, I mean, you were pretty busy, and all of a sudden the pandemic hit right after it gets canceled and stuff. Was it? I mean, it must have been pretty fun to go kind of relax for a second, knowing you're okay, everything's good, you're not going to work for a while, and kind of stay at home and play with the kids a little more. Was it kind of a wake up call to like spend more time with the kids?
I mean, after I like learned their names, it was great. And sort of like figured out like where all this stuff is. No, I actually loved. I really did. Like in the early weeks of the lockdown in LA, I kept on saying I am built for this shit. Like I had like a whole garage full of gear, and like I'm not like a doomsday kind of guy, but coming from the East Coast, earthquakes still scare the shit out of me. Like, I just find it so. Like my wife is from San Francisco, so she's like, oh, whatever. I'm like, yeah. So all the books fell off. Like, who cares? But to me, they still really scare me. So I have all this sort of. It's not crazy, but I have like a earthquake kit and like some survival gear and stuff like that. So when pandemic hit, I was like, I'm fucking ready. Like, bring it. Once it was apparent that like it wasn't gonna like start raining fire or anything, I took that energy and I just started fixing everything in the house. And I was making pancakes and French toast and like big lavish breakfast for the boys every morning. We were outside like digging in the yard and planting tomatoes and putting in flowers and all kinds of stuff. And it really was kind of great just to not have the distraction of the rest of the world. I mean, to be lucky enough to not have the distraction of the rest of the world, I should say. But it was it was because we travel a lot in this business.
Yeah.
Which at times is, like I said before, used to be my favorite thing to do. And I got, when you travel for work a lot, it does take the shine off it a little bit. I don't really like to be gone from the family for more than like 3 or 4 days, to be honest. I just miss everybody.
I'm same day.
Yeah. To have all that time together at that time, it was a real treat. And then after 6-8 months of that, it's amazing how the shine wears off of that as well. And you can't wait to be anywhere but stuck inside with your fucking kids.
Yeah. Oh, and the playgrounds were chained. Like you couldn't even go to the playgrounds. Like it was out of many. Luckily, we had the pool. We lived in the pool.
Yeah.
I homeschooled, dude. I had a kindergarten and a second grader. Like it was Oh, and I was adding a second story for the entire pandemic for the year. So guys were in the house like grinding and sanding and painting while I was schooling 2 kids.
They were what? Jesus.
We did a little surf and turf. That's
he put a little go-go dance studio upstairs.
Midnight Run. He goes, "You should order the steak, and I'll get the. If we get a little surf and turf now." It's also a Trump dance. That's a Trump dance.
That is a Trump dance.
Yeah. Yeah, it got old, actually, dude. I was telling Jason, I don't know if you came in. I wrote a whole new album. I recorded an album like 2 weeks ago, based one whole new hour of material just from the pandemic.
Oh,
that's
wow.
coming out in September. Yeah. I recorded it in front of all the parents from my kids' school. I rented a rehearsal hall and I invited all the parents, and they got plastered. And I told a roar of jokes and recorded it. Yeah. Because it was catastrophic. It was gruesome. It was a gruesome year. But it's funny because I'm the same. Like if I just went and did a gig in San Diego for a weekend and I missed the kids, like I'm such a sucker.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but yeah.
Yeah, I was in New York a month ago for a little bit of work. And after like 3 days, also when I was there, I guess I was there in February 1st, and the city was still very shut down. You couldn't really, it was winter. You couldn't go anywhere or do very much. And all I could really go is like from set to my hotel room. And man, I missed them. It was like that was the longest stretch I'd sort of been apart from them during COVID, and it was kind of brutal. But it was nice.
How did they handle it?
They do great, man. They don't even notice that I'm gone. Like their mom is an angel, and like they're a handful, but they're good kids and they have fun. And it's fun to be reunited again too. That's kind of the best part.
But I just wanted to look back, like in the years before, like I would book a gig in New York. Like when we shot in Chicago, we just picked up, just go to Chicago and
we would just party. We would just have a great,
I would book a gig and then I would stay in that town. I'd go, I'm having a good time in New York. And that's how I met my wife.
That's how you met your wife. Yeah.
Reid and I said, let's go. We were fooling around and we said, let's go to New York for 2 weeks. And we stayed in the Soho Grand and I met my wife. And I made some terrible choices after that. But before that, there was some great stuff going on, really.
You never made one bad choice before that.
No, but Kate has. Kate has made some terrible choices in her life. I think we all can agree on that. Jason, no more Marvel? No more Marvel talk?
No, I'm already starstruck. This is the best day I've ever had.
I know. He went down the Venom wormhole, man. It's pretty funny.
I was super excited about it.
That's funny. Hey, I have another question for you. You were on another show, and I want the answer. Why do women kill, Reid? Why do they kill?
Man, I think there's 3 really good reasons on this screen right now.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Reid was in a show called Why Women Kill, which was CBS All Access. I think it was their first big CBS All Access show. Yeah. I, of course, can't afford CBS All Access. I just can't do it. And if you're not going to put it on CBS, I can't. Come on, man.
I mean, but here you get all the access. That's the thing. So it's like you can't put a price on that much access. Is what
apparently Kaler can.
Well, I mean, do I get that, or do I get the Peacock, or do I get Crackle, or how many apps are there?
Crackle. What's on Crackle?
We all cut the cord for cable, and then now we all have to subscribe to 75 different channels to get all the shows we want. So eventually, what they'll do is they'll take those channels and put them all together, and they'll call it
cable.
Cable. Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's how it's going to work out. But anyway, why did you get killed, Reid?
Why did I get killed? Actually, I think I survived. Yeah.
Again, you're in a show called Why Women Kill and you survive. It's the same as like taking Venom's woman and surviving. Yeah. Have you been in a show where you died?
I've been in a lot of movies where I die. I've been in like a string of like horror movies and weird thrillers where I got one where I got shot up with a bunch of needles in my neck, and the ghost kills me, and I got one where somebody whacked me in the face with a board, and I'm a dead ghost walking around for the next 90 minutes.
Okay.
Trust me, I've died a lot. I'm the kind of guy you want to kill usually, which is why it's weird that I survived two.
Oh, crazy.
2 movies.
I guess. I don't know. I don't think you're the guy that people want to kill. Bunan's the guy that people want to kill.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's totally true. What else? You got any questions, Jason? What else you got for questions for Reid?
That's not my job on the show. I blew my whole load on the Marvel question.
That was the Venom call. I mean, we talk about parenting, but honestly, this whole show is just an excuse just to get away from our kids to
drink. That's all we have done every Tuesday.
Mine are right over here.
They're still because you guys are 3 hours behind us, or me anyway.
Where are you, Joe?
I'm slightly outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, got it. All right. Joe Biden town.
Yeah, in that area. Although not a lot of following for him here.
Bunin was going to come in, he was going to come in because I have one more bit I want to do with you. And so I want us all to write your next big sitcom.
Ooh, okay.
The Reid Scott Show. There's been a lot of titles for TV shows that I felt like were perfect, like Brady Bunch or Leave It to Beaver. Everybody Loves Raymond, although he hated it. My Boys, we hated the name. We hated it. And it turned out to kind of stick and stuff. Veep's good. But so the question was, what would the title of the Reid Scott You didn't like the title?
No, it was weird. There were so many things about Veep that were placeholders that ended up just sticking around and sort of becoming, gospel. And like working its way into the canon, like the title was like a sort of a placeholder. The opening credits were a placeholder.
That was the same with My Boy, the placeholder. Yeah. They trying to come up with new names, and finally they were just like, "It's fine, just leave it."
That was it. Yeah, they just kept it.
That's funny. I mean, we should talk about Veep a little bit because most people probably know you from Veep, and obviously Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a national treasure and maybe the funniest person who's ever been in sitcoms.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, it must be crazy. You guys must have had a blast every day. Matt Walsh, the whole cast is just crazy, funny. Gary Cole, everybody's in there. Tony Hale. I mean, it's a pretty amazing group of people. With like In the Loop, the film that they eventually then kind of took off from. The dude, is it Iannucci? What's his name? Iannucci?
Armando Iannucci, yeah.
Genius writer. I mean, it was just like this fortuitous thing that just fell into place and kicked from minute one. Yeah. I mean, you guys were the SAG Awards every year. It must have been this just amazing run, man.
It was incredible. Yeah, I'd never really been a part of anything like that. And I'm sure I'll never be part of anything like that again. It's sort of hard to recreate. But one thing I will say, all of the people that you mentioned, Veep, were incredible actors and comics and improvisers that I was so in awe of and intimidated by, certainly in the beginning. I mean, like going toe-to-toe with – I mean, Matt Walsh is like the most wonderful guy in the world, but he's an improv legend, Yeah. Tony is absolutely hilarious. Julie is incredible. My Boys set me up for that. Working with you and Bunin and Gaffigan. In the early days. Like, that's where I kind of cut my teeth in, like, the comedy and improv world. Because I was terrible. Like, even in My Boys, where we had all this kind of latitude, where Betsy, our showrunner, would say, one for fun, like, go for it. Just take the scene. Just hit all the beats that we need in the scene, but do whatever you guys want to do, which was always followed by my favorite director's note, which is, okay, in this next one, just tailor it up. That was always the best.
Gilligan, Gilligan. Tailor it up.
Yeah.
I think that could increase your volume. I believe that was just raise the volume of it.
Louder, faster, quieter, softer. That's.
Anytime I had a line that I didn't think was funny, all my brain said was say it as fast as humanly possible, so that people will move on to the next line. I think that's why I worked a lot on other shows, on sitcoms. They were just, he says this really fast and it'll be over with, and then we can get back to the main story. Yeah.
But that I never would have gotten Veep. I never would have felt comfortable on that kind of set with those kind of guys had it not been for our 4 seasons of My Boys and sort of like learning the give and take of comedic improv on camera, because it's different than when you're doing it on stage, where you can sort of like mess around and they want to see, sausage sort of fall apart. But Yeah, man, it was great. I've been so lucky in my career so far to get to work with some of the funniest people in this business. It's really been amazing.
Was there much improv? It feels like it's so tightly scripted.
Yes and no. That was part of Armando's genius, was knowing how to blend the two. So I mean, it was very written. It was like anybody who knows much about how a TV show is sort of made. This won't shock you, but for those of you who might not, a typical half-hour comedies comes in around about a minute a page plus. So you're talking like 35, 38 pages. Veep consistently was like 65 pages long. Oh, wow. On purpose. And they were like, we're just going to shoot it all. We're going to shoot fast and furious. We're going to get it all in, and we'll figure it out in the edit. So even though it was scripted beautifully, they would say, great, got it the way it's written. Now just fuck around. Now, like the same thing we would do with my boys, hit all the places on the roadmap, but get there any way you want. And those takes were always the best. I think the most real, electric sort of comedy came out of that. And then the real genius would always be in the editing room in finding the takes to sort of blend it all together and just keeping that pace. And
cut too with the camera kind of moving and then would punch. And I mean, it doesn't stop. You almost you're like, nobody can talk while you're watching it because you have to back up because you're missing lines, you're missing jokes. Exactly. It was like 30 Rock in a way where it just had that just a machine gun of jokes, which I loved. Yeah, it was great.
They just broke all the rules. That was one of the cool things about it. It was, this is like a camera reference, and some people might know like about crossing the line and like the way that you would shoot the camera. Well, you're shooting everything in this direction, so you only cover it from sort of this half of the room. Right. And it's considered jarring usually to spin the camera around and go in the complete opposite direction from a different point of view. And on Veep, they were like, forget it. We don't care about that. We're just going to shoot anywhere we want. We would have 5, sometimes 6 camera guys, all with little earwigs, being directed by someone being like, okay, like camera B, duck. Because camera A would come over the top and like get the shot of the 2 guys doing some weird little thing in the corner and then pan back over. And then camera B would pop back up and get somebody else. And then they would just blend all that. It was, I've never seen anything like it. It was chaotic and very nerve-wracking at times, but incredibly fun. We were just playing jazz the whole time, man.
It was crazy, but it had all these different elements of the amazing writing, the acting, and then the camera works fantastic as well, and it all blends into masterpiece. So it's kind of, there's a reason when things are that good and they run for that long. There's usually a reason. They're pretty good, pretty well made. Hey, listen, we have another a guy wanted to come in, and this guy is probably best known as one of my groomsmen. He also, I believe, was on My Boys, and you may have seen him over the last few years on Superstore. Mr. Mike Bunin has come in to say hi to Reid. Oh, did we pulled him? Oh, you're doing it. Every time I add him.
That was a great intro, man. I probably am best known for being your groomsman.
What's up, Mikey?
What's happening, my friend?
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man.
I was gonna call Kyle, but I think he's in his van traveling across the country somewhere.
Yeah, he's in his Mercedes TARDIS, just traveling the universe. He's fine, man.
Oh,
he's
man.
fine.
He's Doctor Who.
We figured we'd bring one dude in who doesn't have any kids, whose life seems more chaotic than ours, so that we can feel. Which is odd. It's always odd to me. Mike's like, everything's a mess. I go, dude, you don't even know what a mess is. This is a disaster.
No, I'm thinking about having kids just to settle down and make things calm.
Actually, from your life, it would be a calming influence, I believe, for you. I do. Today, I spent 90 minutes. My kid's pediatrician called us about a bill, and they said they kept calling the insurance company, and the insurance company said my kid wasn't covered. And then I called SAG-AFTRA, and they said, no, she's covered. And then I called the pediatrician, and then they put the claim back in. And then the insurance people said, no, she's not covered. And then they called me back. And then I called the SAG-AFTRA again, and I said, maybe you should talk to the insurance people. And it's still – that was 90 minutes of my day. So that's – yeah. And Mike, of course, had some trouble, I think, making lunch or something. Did you have a tough time making lunch?
No. I had a tough time deciding, but the process of making it was actually very easy.
So what did you have?
He'll send me a video. By the way, he sent me this amazing video the other night, which he was beautifully edited. You were making pasta carbonara, maybe something. It had.
I made a little rigatoni alla gricia.
Oh, except my
wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how great would it be to have the time to make this and film it and edit it and then send it to my friend Mike Dunan. That would have been a wonderful night for me.
Oh no, but I edited it while eating dinner, so it really didn't take that much time.
You could do other things while you were eating dinner besides screaming at a kid to eat her vegetables.
I'm the only one to scream at around here, so I can multitask.
My kids. Reid, do your kids eat? You said
Reid's gonna come through the camera and punch me.
No, I know Reid doesn't punch anybody. That's what we talked about. Hey, Mike, remember Reid he always kind of had this calm to him that was odd. I'd never seen him blow up on set.
That's such bullshit. You guys give me endless shit about the one time that I did lose my cool.
You didn't lose it. What did you say? Did you say I'll limp on the day or something? What was that the day? What was the day
that would be one of the 2 times maybe that you lost. Cool.
You want the limp or you want the line? What the fuck do you want? You want the limp?
I guess you know what? I guess you did kind of lose it. So Jason, one day, how does it go? Reid, you tell the story. We'll hear it from your side first before we belittle you.
All right. Okay. So
Reid, again, I apologize that he is the way he is.
No.
Well, he knows.
I knew what I was getting myself into when I said, okay.
Yeah.
Please don't let that reflect on my behavior in this show.
Jason, you have been a delight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So as I remember it, I'd had a rough night the night before. I might have had a couple of pops. And I think I was unprofessionally maybe a little bit hungover on that day. And I think I was nursing cold. I think I was not feeling particularly well. And I was a little late to set, which was very unlike me. And I was late. And I sort of rushed in there, and we were doing this scene where Brendan, I forget how he had hurt his leg, but he was supposed to be limping from some sort of injury and walking down the hall to his room. And I sort of like picked up my lines. I'm like looking at him like, oh shit, okay, do it. And we were marking it for rehearsal, so that's when the camera crew knows where to put the camera and how to light and what's going to happen essentially. And I did it without limping. And Betsy, who was like, she's the greatest ever and used to give us endless amounts of shit anyway because she's just one of the
showrunner, by the way.
She's the showrunner. But while I'm speaking, she's like, and you're limping. And you're limping, and you're limping. And I just sort of lost it. I was like, you know what? I'll fucking limp on the day. What do you want? You want the limp or you want the line? Pick one. You can't have both. You can have one. You can have the limp. You can have the line. What do you want? And I instantly felt so bad. I feel like it got a laugh, but it also got a sort of like, oh, shit. And I felt nasty. And none of you have let me forget it. In fact,
no.
It was on the fucking T-shirt that year, right? It was on the.
That was the cast T-shirt. I'll limp on the
that
day.
Was the season T-shirt. Yeah, I'll limp on the day.
Yeah, I'll limp on the day.
It's so embarrassing.
But we had another T-shirt called. It said, "In Reid We Trust."
That's right. I do remember. Yeah.
I think that might have been the pilot. That might have been after the pilot or something.
I can leave my camera spot and go get that T-shirt if you'd like to see.
You have that T-shirt? I think I have one in my closet.
I have one upstairs.
Hold, please.
But here's what the problem is, Reid, is that was the only time you lost your shit. We lost our shit every other day, so it didn't have the resonance of yours. People were like, "What just happened?"
In my defense, I was usually so stoned that there was no.
You were everything just glided off of you, man. Everything just, I was looking with such awe. Oh, why can't I be like that? And Reid's how we trust.
Now there was that second. There was one other time where he almost blew up.
Tell me.
Was a douchebag in the city?
One of the random. I was about to say.
I blow up all the time now.
No. It's we were shooting in the bar, and there was all kinds of glasses and stuff all over the bar, and you were just trying to get. There was all sorts of technical stuff going on while poor Reid is trying to just get the rehearsal done, just get the scene out. And the little fruit tray on the bar was apparently, it was in a position that Reid did not appreciate. To which Reid just turned to camera and everybody and said, Is this going to live here? Is this where this is going to live?
Oh.
I do remember that. Is this going to live here? We said about the trail.
Oh, God.
It's one of my favorite moments. I'm sorry, Reid. It's
Okay, hold on. All right, so it's all kind of a blur to me anyway. I'm sure I exploded on a daily basis. And Mike, I know you lost your shit many times on that. I remember once they wanted me to say, I think I was supposed to say bitch about a woman. Like I was supposed to call a woman a bitch or something. And I was like, I was like, I would never say that, which is so crazy. Although my character probably would. I was like, I'm not going to say. I think we each had a couple of things about little lines that we were like, I don't feel like I would say this.
Yeah.
And then one line was bitch. I didn't want to call a woman a bitch on the show for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe my 4 sisters ready to beat me up or something. But I remember like melting down. I'm not saying it. I forget what
I always love the dilemma of I would never say that. I always love the dilemma of I would never say that, but would my character say it?
I know. It was weak. I should have just said what they wrote. And then the writers just beat you.
No, I stand by your decision.
Sorry, Your Highness. I'm so sorry.
You had to say it because if you didn't say it that week, then in the next week's episode, they'd write you a line that was even worse.
Mike, for you, the worst was always when we played poker. Mike Bunin was such a poker Nazi. Where we would be around the table, he'd be like, "You don't bet yet." I go, "Dude, relax. Nobody gives a shit."
Now that's an interesting perspective to tell that story from. And I'm like, "Dude, relax." Yes, you're right. I was only yelling about poker. I wasn't concerned that you were completely speaking out of order, doing everything out of order, messing up the scene. You're correct. I was concerned about the poker continuity of this world.
You were poker. You would be like, "Oh, he would never bet with that hand." You'd be like, "Dude, nobody cares. It's nobody."
No. You would never bet fish hooks against Cowboys. No.
Never. You can't read. You know what he's talking about.
Now with a toad in the hole and then one in the pie chute. No way.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And then the night I almost broke Calay's hand driving around the cart at 4 a.m. drunk on the Paramount lot, where she fell off.
She fell out. She just fell out, guys.
I was driving like a lunatic. I was hammered. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. We're driving around the Paramount lot. The security guards are like, "Get off the lot." And I was driving like a lunatic in the cart, and Calais was in it. I think she almost broke her wrist somehow or something crazy.
Do you remember the memo we got for season 2 from Paramount that said, "Congratulations on your pickup. Welcome back to the lot. We want to remind you that this is a dry lot."
Yeah. Paramount is like Utah of all of the major lots.
Yeah, sure it was. We drank so much on that.
If you know how to bend the rules, it's okay. You can bend them.
I did. You missed the Marvel quiz, Mike. You wouldn't have got it.
Oh.
You know Venom. Oh, you missed the Venom quiz.
I know Reid.
Reid actually did. He did remarkably well.
He did really well. Yeah.
I got some homework to do. There's too much. That's the problem. I considered myself a comic book kid when I was a kid. I had like a pretty good collection, but I guess I probably put them down like around like 1994, 1995. And then so many of these worlds spawned. There's all the spin-offs and the spin-offs and the spin-offs and the spin-offs. It's like, man, it's all brand new to me. It's such a big world now. It's crazy.
And they weren't big movies. They weren't becoming movies at the time until really Iron Man was the first one that kind of catapulted the whole thing, right?
They made the Punisher like 9 times before anybody cared.
And I think it's coming again. again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So anyway, here's my last bit, and I brought Bunin in very specifically for this, and we kind of alluded to it. We're going to write the Reid Scott pilot tonight. Now we're going to put the storyline for the pilot. Well, I don't know what the name of it is. I kind of bantered some names around. Just I think sometimes the name is what initiates the sitcom. It's all about the name, really, whether it's All in the Family or whatever. Pretty much
All in the Family. Yeah.
I mean, here's a couple. I came up with that.
You know the whole show right there.
That's it. Yeah. The United States of Al. You know exactly what's happening. It all falls into place, right? Mom, it's there. It says it. So I want to hear your titles, but I'm going to give you a couple seconds to think about it. So whatever the title is, you're going to come up with. You're going to come. But I came up with Captain Poopy Pants. I thought that might be a nice one. Just because.
Why
the
not?
Kid stays in the playground. Dinosaur Alley. That was it. I only had those 4, and that was all I got. I didn't really put much thought into it. So we got to come up with it. But here's my premise. I think it's kind of a sliding doors where we see your life as the parent of 2 kids, but then some mechanism slides the doors, and then we see you had you not got married and had 2 kids, and obviously you date every celebrity in town, and you really, I mean, you die young, but you go out like a king. I mean, you go out.
Oh, I got a title. Then we should call it "It's a Wonderful Life."
I feel like that's been taken, but
maybe. All right. I didn't get it. Okay.
Well,
what if the two me's met each other somehow and had to switch?
We could do a multi-universe Reid.
That's right.
Multi-universe Reid.
Yeah. Just to bring it back, Marvel full circle, like Spider-Verse, but Readerverse or whatever, where they have to switch spots. So Bachelor Reid has to take care of let's call it 2 twin boys with an older brother, just to sort of throw Jason into the here, right? Mm-hmm. And then you see Dad Reid having to navigate. I mean, the poor guy has to go out every night and have fun, and stay out and go on dates and go to ball games and go camping with his buddies and just of course it's like, God, how does he manage?
So they've done it before with, I think it was Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman, where they swapped Bachelor with Married Life. But what you're talking about is next level genius. It's kind of face off if both faces are both beautiful Reid Scott. So basically, we just swap out Reid Scotts. You play both parts. You're having the fun, but you're also showing the anguish of being a parent.
That sounds hard.
And
that sounds hard. I don't want to do that.
It's a lot of. By the way, it's going to be a lot of work. Then
you know what?
Dude, you're going to have to do total Mark Ruffalo.
You should let me play. You should let me play the rundown Reid Scott. You know what I mean, for a juxtaposition.
Yes, I like that.
I love it. So, you actually, what happens is, even in this camera work, we can see you guys next to each other. You look at each other and go, Jesus Christ, what happened to me?
What happened?
And then Mike said,
hold on, I'm gonna do that. There, I'll do the slip. There, they switched.
What happened?
Oh my!
Anyways,
genius.
When I was on
Veep,
my
God! Holy shit!
And then you go, my God, what did kids age me 20 years? And you're like, yeah, that's what they do. They really age you.
Oh, I thought I was going to be the single Reid.
Hot dogs for lunch on a Tuesday, baby.
So Reid is. I love where this is going. So what's the name, though? What's the name? Reid. I mean, it's Reid versus. It's Kramer versus Kramer, but it's Reid versus Reid in a way.
They would call it Rich Reid, Poor Reid.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
Right? Yeah. Or
I like where we're at. Really almost writes itself at this point.
It's also like Reid Friday somehow. Yeah, I like this.
Well, let's talk about the opening scene.
What's the
opening scene? What's the opening scene with Reid as a bachelor? Where does he wake up?
Oh, I think this is okay. Well, it's got to start off with a bang, right? Like what prompts the switch? So you're seeing Dad Reid get the kids breakfast and get them all ready. He's taking them to the park, right, for soccer, something like that. Mm-hmm. Bachelor Reid is coming home from a night out. He's 5 sheets to the wind, probably shouldn't be behind the wheel, kind of thing. And of course, these two worlds literally and figuratively collide, and boom, they're thrust into each other's lives. That's it. You got to move it along, man. It's TV. You don't have a whole lot of time to build up.
If you want to move it along, how about if you do this, where the two Reids in the car accident hit so hard together that they merge universes and they become one Reid, and then they have to do a kind of a noise. What is it? Noises Off, where it's a farce where he has to do both. He has to be single Reid and he has to be married with kids Reid, and so
Look, we got to raise the stakes. Here's what happens. Here's your first scene. Dad Reid goes into a liquor store And somehow Multiverse, not so good Reid, is in there robbing it, and he thwarts the robbery that he's committing. He arrests himself. He saves the day from himself.
Yep.
Which is all we're trying to do anyways.
Well, you know, and I watched the Tomorrow War, and it's basically a father-daughter film that is, they were like, oh, let's throw in aliens and time travel. So what if we have this multiverse thing, but there has to be aliens of some sort? Mm-hmm. And then I feel like time travel would really kind of round out the whole 22 minutes. Not make it confusing at all. I think it would actually kind of bring everything home. And really...
Yeah, time travel usually simplifies it.
Yeah, this is... Oh, dude, my phone's blowing up right now. I don't know.
See?
It's everybody calling you to go, seriously, you're gonna let Bunin play the other you? That's insanity. All the people you know.
Look, I've known him a long time. I gotta let him play me once.
Anybody. You're gonna let Bunin play you? I mean, listen, kids don't fuck you up that bad. There's no way they don't make you look like that. That's insanity.
Look, I just have to get a little younger, get in shape, get a full head of hair, get a better career, and a Ramones shirt, and I'm probably going to be able to play him.
We're graying in the same spot, though. This is going to work out well. Look at this. We got the same sort of like white patch beard.
Yeah. I'm method. I'm very method.
Yeah.
Wow. My white patch right there. It's my giant white patch. It's all white at this point. All right. So how does it end? What's the ending of the episode to launch us into the series? Mike,
it's got to hang on like a cheesy sort of one-liner cliffhanger line, right?
Yeah.
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 How about we throw a third Reid into the mix who's from the past?
Ooh.
That's not believable. Put him back.
That's fair. No way. Let that guy be Reid Scott. I think Reid plays the whole thing. Dude, what about Ruffalo when he played him and his like handicapped brother or something? He must have shot one of them, then he went and lost like 20 pounds, and then he came back and shot the other one.
Yeah, crazy.
At some point he's like, look, I didn't get into acting to work that hard. That's insane. You know, I got into acting to just kind of glide through. They yell action. I say a couple lines. I cash some checks. I mean, I don't want to do this crazy Mark Ruffalo stuff. What's happening?
Also, just gaining all that weight, dude. They asked me to do that for Veep. There was a season where my character has a nervous breakdown. I think it's like season 3.
Oh yeah, in the hospital.
Yeah, and when they were originally pitching the idea, Armando asked me. He's like, when he comes back from the nervous breakdown, and we're going to shoot it so that we will shoot you having the breakdown right before Christmas break, and then we were going to go dark for about I think 4 or 5 weeks, maybe something like that, and then come back. So he's like, would you feel comfortable gaining 40 to 60 pounds during the break? And at first I was like, I fucking love this idea. This is like, oh my God, what a challenge. This is going to be totally like, it's like sit around. It's like, you know, drink a bunch of beer and eat a bunch of chips. Like, this is my job. Like, can I get insurance? Like, this is going to, just to make sure the old ticker's okay. And I actually went as far as to a buddy of mine is a trainer, and he set me up with a nutritionalist. And I ran. I was like, okay, cool. So I got about 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks if I'm lucky, to try to gain 45, 50 pounds. And she's like, no. Well, what do you mean no? She's like, I can't allow you to do that. Like, what do you like? If you're gonna put on that kind of weight, you need more time, or else your body is going to like just shut the fuck down. So I had to go back to Armando and say, I have a note from my doctor saying I can't do this thing. So instead, it was just like, okay, go the opposite. So I ended up like, you know, they made me look like I lost a bunch of weight and dark circles under my eyes and all that kind of stuff. But I was so pissed that I didn't get the chance. Because I remember, what's his name, from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mac from Always Sunny did it, and it was just the funniest fucking thing how he committed to that so hard, and he gained a lot of weight.
He gained a lot of weight, dude.
He lost a lot of weight, and then was like shredded. And it was like the way
he's naturally a bigger dude, man. I personally, I could not gain 40 pounds. There's no way. Mike, I don't think you could. Reid, I just don't think you could get in 4.5.
I gained 40 pounds since we started the show.
he has. That's true. That's true. That's so funny. It's so funny that you guys that's how the acting was on yours. We on My Boys were like, hey, why don't we do a mustache contest for the new season?
That's right.
We're not gaining weight. We're gonna grow a mustache, and we grew them up. I should have had the picture ready to go.
Then we have the picture.
We have it.
I'm sure it's in here somewhere.
It's in here somewhere. Buren will probably find it. Yeah, and we grew. Which, by the way, Reid, I don't know if you know this. Which another thing that annoys me about you, you won the mustache contest.
Did I really?
I think you did. I did not, and I felt like I should have. I had the Wyatt Earp.
No.
Mike had the.
I hands down should have won the mustache contest.
Honestly,
you and
Mike had the big handlebar, like down.
Yeah.
You had it down to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the Wyatt Earp, which is monster, and you had the little Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
And you won.
It looked good on Reid.
You called me on it. You're like, you saw me sort of like, because it was the same thing. They said, come with the mustache. I forget if it was at the beginning of the season or there was like a break coming up, and they were like, grow a mustache during the time off. And I saw you, Jamie. Yeah, so you too, Mike. We played golf or we got together for something like that. And you were like, where the fuck's your like? You got to start growing your mustache, man. I was like, don't worry about it. It'll be. I'll mustache on the day.
that's so how you did it, man. That's exactly how you did it.
And then like 2 weeks out, I was like, oh fuck, like what?
what? Reid was probably the whole time thinking, they're not going to do this bit. They're not going to do this bit. Oh yeah, there we go.
And they had to help me. They had to paint it in.
You think you win the mustache contest over Mike and I? That's insane.
Not even close. No way. Mike, look at you. Oh, God, I love that mustache. Look at that thing.
It was so funny. It was so funny. All right, so the Reid Scott show ends. It's basically we've already gone into – we've had to cancel the show because he doesn't want to play both parts. It's going to be too time-consuming.
Yeah, that's right.
Right in.
Why don't you EP it and have Ben Feldman play the parts? You just cash a check every week and make Feldman do all the work, right?
Perfect. That is my dream.
Yeah.
That's Ben's dream.
All right, listen. Hey, I love you guys for coming in here. Reid, I love this. We got to wrap at some point because I have 2 kids in the other room that I have to go put to bed, and they're up way late.
Yeah, I got fresh pasta I was going to boil and then throw on a movie. So I got it made. I can show it to you.
Yeah, I know. I bet you do. This was really fun, Reid. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming out, guys.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jamie.
Venom, Carnage is coming with Woody Harrelson as Carnage, and yeah, I don't know, Mike. Anything else you want to say before you go? I got nothing else. I
am thrilled that I got to live in a dream world where I was going to portray Reid Scott for just a minute, and it was honestly pretty great. Thrilled that I was going to know what that could metaphorically be like for someone.
I mean, with you playing it, it's almost like that M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they go to the beach. Like Reid goes to the beach, and all of a sudden he starts turning into you, and it becomes an unbelievable horror film. Do you know what I mean?
So it's a comedy. It's a comedy. No, it's a comedy horror film where all of a sudden a guy like Reid Scott, no matter what happens, he's become the before picture of himself, and he can't shake it.
It's the portrait of Dorian Gray. It's the portrait of Reid Scott, and you are the picture, Mike. You are the actual painting of Reid Scott. That would be such a funny fucking sketch. Where Reid goes to a house, and there's a picture of him, and then it slowly becomes you over a few days. Reid's not aging at all, and Buren is the new Reid Scott. Isn't that the new M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong film coming where they go to the beach and turn old or something? Is that right? Yeah, I haven't seen it. Okay.
We'll call Reid's movie Dorian Reid.
That's not okay. Actually, that might be a good sitcom title. Is the portrait of Dorian Reid? All right, we'll go with that. All right, hey, I love you guys. Thanks so much for coming in.
Love you guys.
Come back anytime.
Reid, as a parent, we love having you, and wish the best to your family. And Jason, you know, with your kids, we love you and good luck to you and your family. Mike, you're doing it, buddy. Good luck with everything. Have fun. Have fun with the pasta. And Sally, your beautiful dog.
Yeah, well, she's doing her thing. She's over here. She's doing her thing.
We love Sally. All right, guys. That's it for the Parents Lounge. We're like waiting to let these guys go because we got to. We're gonna publicize a little other stuff here. Reid's out. Jason, super fun today. Tell people what's coming up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, you can get tickets to the Parents Lounge Live stand-up show, September 25th, Sayre, Pennsylvania, at the Sayre Theater. Here is the list of credits that Jamie claims he has, and it is going to be an amazing show. It's going to be. Tell them what we're going to do.
It's our first live show. It's an evening of sketch and stand-up and audience involvement. So we have basically we'll do. It's going to be a super fun show. It's going to be a super fun show. For parents.
All you have to do is go to bcrac.org. I will put it here on the Parents Lounge site. The QR code. You can get tickets now, and it's going to be an amazing show.
Super fun. So, hey, thank you to everybody for all the support. I mean, everybody chiming in, and it was so much fun tonight to see Reid and Bunin again. So that's it, I guess, in the Parents Lounge for this week. Next week, we have Bill Engvall.
Bill Engvall.
He's going to be doing the dad stuff from the Parents Lounge. So
he's such a great
super fun. Yeah, super fun. And also, people were commenting on my shirts, which I love. Yep. Jason got this logo made. So we are setting up some merch stuff now. So people will be able to come on and get TPL.
Oh, you can see it. There you go.
Yeah, right? It's awesome. It's super cool. I just got it in the mail today. And our shirts and stuff. So we're going to have that up soon, too. So thank you to everybody for all your support. And super fun, Jason.
And we'll see you, as always. We're here every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7%. I never can say that. 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you next week, everybody.
See you guys.